Okay, so being from the Midwest, I'm a Wisconsinite, but right next to Illinois. Give me a fucking break. Lived there for a year. Shout out to Boys Town. Just want to give praise to the Cubs. Congratulations on the win. 108 years in the making. It's pretty incredible, and I lived in Wrigley Field. I can only imagine how crazy it was walking down Clark Street. I wish I could have been there. I would have jumped into Sidetrack or Hydrate and partied the night away watching those frat boys walk by. But congratulations to everybody in Chicago, anyone who's a Cubs fan around the country or the world. And speaking of over testosterone driven men, let's talk about this male contraceptive drug that's getting a lot of heat towards the penis. Okay, so this fucking drug, this drug that everybody's talking about, this fucking false flag media story that was put in to distract us, is working. And it's about this male contraceptive drug that was being tested out on a group of men, and I have an opinion, and it's really annoying to me how this topic is being handled. You know, if you watch any of these videos, I get really annoyed by the way humans interact with each other. But basically what happened, this trial was going on to introduce this new contraceptive drug for men to use, which, hey, I am all for when you think about the term equality and what we should be doing to prevent unwanted births. Totally on board. Women shouldn't have to bear the brunt of the work. Totally on board. However, when we run into clinical studies that prove that humans should not be ingesting or injecting something that could potentially cause serious side effects, we need to stop pulling the binary blame game and pretending there's only two sides. We need to remember that we're all humans and that reproduction takes two. Okay? So these women, these fucking feminist women, these feminazis, are going after men, all men, saying that we can't take the pain. That's mainly the argument, that men can't take the pain that women have dealt with for 100 years. But what's funny to me is that women, the supposedly smarter thinking of the two, don't pull back and say, you know what, maybe contraception in and of itself is dangerous. Because every fucking bird running to their computer to type with their fake nails is screaming, men are pussies, why can't men do this? Women have been dealing for years, see, PMS isn't fake. No shit, PMS isn't fake. Men have been telling women that men also experience PMS in a different version because hormones exist. People, stop. Stop with your sexism. Stop all of it. It's so fucking bunk. Like, honestly, this conversation that men are supposed to deal with the headaches, the nausea, the increased or decreased libido, the chance of becoming infertile, okay? Like, all of these are horrible, horrible side effects. And women are just screaming, hey, deal with it, we do? No, 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 no. Women should be screaming, thank you, men, for finally subjecting yourself to the awful torture. And because for some reason we live in a patriarchal society / world, and only men are listened to, especially if they're white and rich, well, hey, thankfully some of them were involved in this study, because now women have a platform to stand up and say, we no longer accept the contraception we are given. We want a safer, healthier way to make sure unwanted births do not happen. You shouldn't be forced into deciding from abortion to birth control pills, which make you infertile or barren. That shouldn't be a thing. I've talked in many videos before where a lot of people are concerned with water now, for some reason now, because of the DAPL. I am totally against the DAPL, but for much different reasons than everybody else seems to be. I'm not worried about the water. The water's being affected by everything else, birth control pills included. Our water is so high in estrogen that male species, from humans to frogs, can no longer reproduce correctly. I mean, where do you think birth defects come from? We don't think. That's the problem. If we started to collectively agree that contraceptive drugs aren't on par with what humanity needs right now, and started to realize that when men complain that a drug is hurting them with bad side effects, it's okay for women to say, you know what, that's something we should take into consideration because women have been complaining about side effects from contraception. Maybe we need to voice our concern. And same with women. When women start to complain about something, i.e. breastfeeding in public, men need to sit back and say, you know what? The breast isn't for me to just yank and tooth at. It's for a child's development. The first 2 years of a toddler's life are meant to be solely breastfed. I am so annoyed with women who are consoling each other to give up on breastfeeding when it hurts, because you don't do that. Okay, the moment you put your child on formula, take out half the nutrients the baby needs. You did it. That was your choice. But that's the funny thing. Everybody's so scared to hear that. New moms were so scared to hear that. Well, you know what? Suck it up. And for your new husbands, or if you're a single mom, you're gonna bear a brunt of the work. You're the mother. This is where your strength comes from. Now, it's up to you whether you decide you're with a deadbeat who doesn't want to put in the work and you leave, or you stay. Or to talk to your partner and say, I am not receiving 50% of you giving. You need to voice your concerns. Communication is where relationships go to die. Nobody does it anymore. We all have these expectations of what our partner should and should not do. Even though if mainstream media controlled what my partner did, I'd be single forever, because I never agree with what mainstream media tells us to do with our partners. It's fucking disgusting. You need to talk to yourself and see what you want. After that, after you feel comfortable in knowing what you want from a partner, then you speak to your partner. If your partner isn't giving it to you, then maybe go outside the circle and talk to a friend or a family member, somebody you really trust, and say, how could I better communicate my needs so that they're met? Because honestly, the way we're approaching all this vitriol, this hate slung every which direction, no matter the topic, if it's men versus women, blacks versus white, old versus young, I mean, it's happening all over ourselves. We're stuck in this like binary vision of what the world is, when really it's a singularity. I mean, it's one, it's a connection. We are human, we are Earth. That's all this is. Actually, we're all light, motherfuckers. The shit I'm learning about light, it's crazy. But, not to get too deep in this video, it just really drives me crazy hearing these feminists scream at men when really they should be really disappointed in themselves for not stopping birth control in the first place. And if they are women who do not take birth control, voice your concerns to other women taking it rather than putting men down for not. That's where I stand with this. Contraceptive drugs are very dangerous for both sexes. We need to pay attention to this. And you know, honestly, we need to start taking it more seriously. What we do here in America oftentimes sets trend for what the rest of the world does. And that's a big fucking deal. That's why it's so important here in this country. It's not the land of the free. It's the land of let's stand the fuck up so the rest of the world can try to be free. We need to really make a change here. We need to do something different. This lifestyle is stale as fuck, yo. It's just crazy to me. It's crazy. Young people need to start voicing that they aren't mad at men for saying contraceptives hurt and cause horrible side effects. They need to start saying we unite as people. And, you know, unwanted babies, they're treated awfully in this country too. It's either abortion or adoption. Neither are great fucking options. We need to start talking about how we as a community need to come together again. It takes a village to raise a kid. It really fucking does. It really fucking does. Look at all the hate put on people who rely on food stamps or financial support from the government and stuff like that. They're villainized, and I can tell you firsthand they're receiving nothing. They get like $200 a month. I hope you know this. They're literally not bleeding your system dry. You know who is? The government that spent $2 billion on this facade of an election. That $2 billion could have housed homeless. Speaking of homeless, we have double the amount of foreclosed homes in this country that we do homeless. You think of that, that's disgusting. These homes are sitting vacant, and yet people are dying on the streets. Those people who are dying on the streets spread disease to your community. When you don't take care of everyone you see every day, that affects you. Just know that. It's fucking sick, the world we are living in. And we're sitting here arguing because men are saying their penises are burning, and we say, do it anyway. You know, it's fucking sick. We need to really, really reel it in. You know, it's crazy. We're letting craziness take over. Anyway, that's my stance on this whole birth control thing. I think it's super dangerous, and I think an entirely different conversation needs to be happening. Hopefully it will. I hope videos like this, I hope others are saying messages like this. The whole idea of feminism scares me. I've said it before. If you're a feminist looking for equality, remove yourself from that group immediately. Because the idea of a feminist looking for equality doesn't even make sense in any literal term, because the word itself is rooted to support women. It doesn't support men. If you are anti-men, you are not for equality. You're a feminazi. And that's just simple fact, okay? Stop arguing with people who are calling out your bullshit. You need to step back and reflect on your decisions. If you want equality, be an equalist. Boom, new word. Send it out. It's just crazy to me. Men should want women to raise up. Women should want men to raise up. We should be equal. We should be working together, because men can't do shit without women, and women can't do shit without men. It's the beauty of the yin-yang. We need each other. As much as women want to scream, we can have babies without you, and as much as men want to be like, women are stupid, neither are true. We need each other. We need to come together. We need to unite, and we need to stop making fun of groups of people who don't want to do things the way the norm does them. Okay? For real. That's my stance. I'm sticking to it. Anyway, I'm gonna jump off this bitch because I don't want to stay angry all day. It is sunny and nice, so I'm gonna go exploring. Anyway, take care of yourself. Look into this contraception story. It's scary. It's just the elitist way of population control. Look into the Georgia Guidestones, motherfuckers. It's real. They really want to make you infertile. They're doing it in Africa. Bill Gates. Look into it. Okay, have a good rest of your day. It's almost Friday, kids. Hold on. Peace out and love.